And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen bullying depicted on film in such a visceral and such a real way. How did you kind of approach this? I mean, did you do a lot of kind of research into it? Was it something that you just kind of came up with one day? Why did you want to kind of tell this story of bullying?
Well, it was a mix between some research and the stories I've been hearing, not even during like a serious investigation, but simply listening to what's going on with my nephews and with children all over, and of course you read in the papers horrible stories. For example, I don't know if you're familiar with the Phoebe Prince story, the Irish girl in the States. It's pretty similar to the film, and I found about it after doing the film. So it's all over the place, and I thought if I was gonna make a film about it's not about bullying, it's about many other things. But if bullying was going to be one of the main subjects, it needed to be this serious, and it had to be treated with this. I mean, kids are committing suicide, so you cannot patronize the subject. It should be like this. I'm not even showing the worst consequences in the film.
And as much as the film is about violence and about what we've just been talking about, it's very much a film about grief and about mourning as well.
Well, that's really the parter point, and that's where I got involved on a much more personal basis with the project. To me, grieving is a really interesting matter, and the way someone cannot keep on going through life after somebody died, it's interesting. I have memories when I was a kid about a close relative of mine who was a really strong character and couldn't really go on, and that made an impression. I was 10 years old, but it made a huge impression on me. So I've been thinking about that for a long time, and then it made sense to incorporate the bullying subject, because most of the kids that are bullied won't talk about it. The silence is like the worst, they just don't talk about it. So I made the connection between grief and that depression and bullying, and then of course the character feels guilty after the mother's death, after the accident, because maybe she was involved. I don't like giving too much explanation, so we don't know exactly what went on, but it's not even important.
And that silence is so beautifully conveyed by Tessa, your lead actress. Can you talk a little bit about her and how you found her?
Well, I'm a close friend of her family, so I know her for years. I've known her since she was little, and the part was first wrote for a kid, but I was spending some time at her place one day, and she was there hanging out with her friends, and actually they're on the movie, the friends. It's the same kids that appear on the film. So I was just watching them, and I said to myself, why not just cast them and ask them to be on the film? And they all accepted, and that's why it looks hopefully so natural and so realistic. I think I wouldn't have pulled it out with actors. And also I hate young actors, like like a 13-year-old that approach and say, "Oh, hello, sir," director. That's bullshit. It shouldn't. Yeah. You have a good eye, first of all. At first it really annoyed me because it wasn't scripted. It's not a symbolic or whatever. It's just I shot that scene on a really posh side of Mexico City, and they actually do that. I mean, it's not the most common thing to walk your dog from a car. That's as lazy as you can be, but it was the best take acting wise for the actors. It was the best take, and I realized there was a dog being walked through a car. It's a Mercedes Benz or whatever. It's really silly, but now it's like a thing for a trivia or something. I'm surprised you realize that, but also it's maybe a reflect of something else, you know, a really bourgeois thing in Mexico. So I decided to just leave it on the film. Well, they're a very special group of kids. They're really intelligent and really mature for 16 years old. So they kind of understood what was going on. For example, they're not actors, but the girl with the curly hair, she's the sister of Gael Garcia. She's not an actress, but she's familiar with it. And so on, you know, the kid that gets dropped at sea at the end, he's the brother of the main actress of my first film, Daniel and Anna. So they're really intelligent. They have a good chemistry between them because they're friends. We did read the script many times. Well, not many times. We sat down and read the script, but we discussed certain scenes. I listened to them, which is very important. So in terms of research, also it came out of the actors or the non-actors, and but mainly I guess the trick was to let them feel that it was easy, you know, trick them into thinking that making the movie was something simple. I knew it was really complicated, and the cinematographer knew that shooting these 4-minute scenes or whatever with many characters in front of a camera is complicated, but they thought it was simple. And also, I normally don't say this, but the film already came out in Mexico, so what the hell? They did drink some alcohol on the party scenes, and so the parents knew, of course. Anyway, they drink like hell every weekend. So the parents, when I asked them, can they drink some for the scenes, they said, for the first time, they're gonna be drinking for a good purpose. So yeah, go ahead. So it was kind of, just doing it for real. And also I gotta say, like, for example, the cake scene where they fit her cake, we were laughing between takes all the time. It wasn't like a serious, like a heavy shooting ambience, you know. Well, I rewrote the script for the main girl and for the rest of the kids specifically after knowing them. So I wasn't asking out of them something. You know, I adapted the character, each character for them, so that helped. And then we knew specifically, and they understood what every scene was about. So they knew they could fool around a little bit, but not too much. And with the most clever kids, I gave them more direction. I told them you should do this on this specific moment, and etc. And the ones that are not so clever or were more nervous, I just told them you just party and have fun, you know, or make out with someone, or yeah. So it was a mix, and then some of the research definitely came out of straight from them.